Hello, you smoke monsters. Welcome to Square Eye Syndrome podcast and welcome to Ocean Flight 815. This week we're talking about Lost. I'm Ben Gillen. I hope you're all well. As always, I'm joined by the walk-in, I'm sure she'll correct me about a million times on this podcast. It's Helen Carnes.
Hello.
And I'm joined by a man who is, well, this again, it's not about witches, but I'm sure he can tell us about how fantasy and everything and how he has the hots for a smoke monster or whatever it is. Destroyed salmon.
What's up, guys? What's up? I'm here.
And Tara Chloe has decided to get off the island and take a plane somehow. We don't know how she got away, but she's got lost somewhere. So, yeah, she'll be back next week.
She'll be back, guys. She'll be back. Don't worry. I know you miss her. Calm down. No, she'll be back.
There is no Titty Man update this week, so we're going to have to just next week get into that with her. But anyway, how are you guys doing?
I was really looking forward to my Titty Man update. I don't know what I'm going to do without that, but you know, here we are. I'm okay actually. Yeah, I've got stuff on. It's happening. I'm planning a wedding, so you won't have to mispronounce my surname for that much longer.
Oh, that's good.
Oh,
yeah. So hopefully. Well, you know what? I was one of those people whose wedding got ruined by COVID. So hopefully this year, let's all cross our fingers and touch loads of wood.
Yeah.
That it will happen.
Yay! That's what I like to hear. And then that puts pressure on Troy and Tara to get married because then 2/4 of this.
You got to push us to get married. No. But yeah, I'll be all right. Not too bad. I've been chilling, man. Working, man. Just try to get that money. Get that money. That's what I'm trying to do right now. How it goes.
So that you can buy more witches stuff. I know. I know you're.
No, I don't think it's that. So we can exist to pay our electricity bills, mate. That's what's happening.
Yeah, well done to the government. Not fuck you, Boris.
My God.
Sorry, I shouldn't swear early, but yeah, still fuming. I actually rang Helen yesterday, just a few.
Yeah.
I was like pissed off. I was shaking afterwards. I was so sodded of it all.
Yeah, I was thinking that as soon as I saw that, I was like, Ben's gonna go off. Ben's gonna go off.
No, I spoke to Helen because I'm planning to run away from where I'm currently getting my energy provider, and I want to see what the price hike like for her is in April, and I'm going to jump across. So, because the current energy provider I'm with has already tried to hike the price up 2 times in the last 12 months before we've even got to April. So, yeah, I'm kind of EDF. So fuck you, EDF, if you're listening to this. Fuck you. I'm going to leave them soon. End of July, I'm gone. There are better energy companies out there that won't take the piss too much.
Mhm.
Yeah, so
We need to be one of those podcasts that have got like an Octopus Energy referral link. Octopus Energy, if you want to sponsor us, we're more than happy.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
Hello there. Yes, we'll take your money. Yes.
Honestly, the amount of shit I've bought because I've heard adverts for it on podcasts. Like, I'm your target audience, but also, your target provider. Hit us up. We're excellent.
Yeah. I'm going to Octopus Energy in August because those are the guys that are apparently quite good. So I'm interested to see how much the needle moves in April with them and their customers. I think that would be okay.
Yeah, I think they will as well. They seem like good people anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be a price hike, but not like it has been. I mean, a company already trying to raise the price twice in a year already before you get to the annual rise up is piss taken. So, yeah, EDF, you can suck my dick. But anyway, the question we are going to be asking tonight is: are you Team Jack or Team Sawyer? It's obviously Team Sawyer. Fuck you, Jack.
Obviously, I mean,
Jack's shepherds are.
Do not get me started on how much I hate Jack from Lost. Like, honestly, what an absolute bell end. Like, oh,
I can get
the arrogance of that man, and just the whole kind of like, oh, I'm important here. I'm so important.
Ooh, everybody I've got a tattoo.
I'm so important. Everybody that's helped me get off this island, I'm going to just spit in their face because I'm too important and I have to go back.
I've got
Oh,
to
and the whole
Jack-
kind of God complex business. Like he just thinks, oh.
Yeah,
And it doesn't help that like the actor is allegedly trash too.
Oh,
he
snap! Is
looks
that a
like a
thing? Is
massive
that a thing?
prick
Yeah.
already, so like that doesn't surprise.
Yeah, he like I'm pretty sure he punched a female bus driver or something like that.
Oh, fuck, damn.
Allegedly.
So it happened then. What a prick.
Yeah. The case was dropped after some money changed hands, I think. Bus driver Heather Borman claimed that Matthew had struck her in the breast, arm, leg, and groin after trying to board her vehicle.
Flipping heck.
Sounds like a euphemism.
It does, but yeah. So yeah,
moving on
Sawyer.
To vehicle.
I would, yes. Like I don't know why it was even a choice for Kate.
Damn.
See,
Okay.
now I'm actually liking Helen more heading into this episode because I'm not the biggest Lost fan. So I'm glad that we at least agree that Jack is a dunce. Jack is overgrown, human-sized condom failure of a man.
God's a good show. Straight good.
So I think the show would be a lot more improved if the smoke monster had just bitten his head off in the first episode. So I mean,
the thing is the absolute tragedy was that the character of Jack was meant to die in the first episode. That was the whole thing. Like they had this idea that they were going to get this big Hollywood like face and like, really like recognizable. People would be like, "Oh, he's definitely not going to die in the first episode," and then just wham, dead. And no, they didn't do that, and that's the real tragedy, everybody.
Yeah.
Because there's not a single episode of that show that man didn't ruin. Like that bit in the last series where he smashed up the lighthouse.
Yeah.
Because he's there's no candidate. I can't be the candidate. It's got to be me because I'm too important.
There's no candidate. It's gotta be. Oh, come on, man. Calm down.
Mate. I know you're a top surgeon and all that, and I know that surgeons have to have God complexes, but you know, there's being arrogant, there's being confident, and there's been an absolute steaming frickin' bell end.
Why don't you surgery on your humanity, you prick?
Every story.
Look at me. I'm Jack Shepherd. I make people walk. Ooh.
Listen to me. Listen to me.
Right. I was going to get to the point that Lost is American drama TV series where a prick called Jack and loads of other characters. No, it originally aired on ABC in America from September 2004 to May 2010. 6 seasons, 121 episodes. The show contains elements of dickheads, Jack, supernatural and science fiction, and follows the survivors of a commercial jet airliner flying between Sydney and Los Angeles. Plane crashes on a mysterious island somewhere in the South Pacific Ocean. The story is told in a heavily civilized manner. Episodes typically feature a primary storyline set on the island, augmented by flashbacks or forward sequences which provide additional insight into the involved characters.
Yeah.
Lost has regularly been ranked by critics as one of the greatest television series of all time. It's not.
It is.
It's got Jack in it. That's a massive minus for me. The first season has an estimated average of 16 million viewers. And during its sixth and final season, I think it was like 5 people turned up to watch the finale. No, 11 million.
Well, that's a bit different to 5, isn't it? Come on.
It's still, no, I'm joking. In the UK, fell off. I don't know anyone that stayed until the end of Lost though in the UK. Though I think
I did.
Yeah, but that's fine. You swept through to the bitter end because you were invested.
Yeah.
My Lost story was I watched this, and I watched this I think in 2011. My brother was around. We watched all 6 seasons within a month. And
yeah, I watched it way after when it ended. I watched it like a couple of years after.
Oh well, I watched it in real time. I watched it on Channel 4, mate.
The whole
That's where I started watching it. I started watching it on Channel 4, and then Sky One got the rights, so then I had to watch it on Sky, and then there was a little bit of time in between series, but you know, one has their ways and means on the internet. And yeah, I was the person who got up at 5 o'clock in the morning to watch the finale, as it was.
Wow.
It was shown simultaneously all over the world, wasn't it? So yeah, I was up at 5 and I watched that shit. And then I was kind of annoyed. I'm not gonna lie, I was a bit like, oh, that wasn't very good. And then I watched it again and I kind of thought about it and I was like, do you know what? I really like that ending.
It satisfied you, yeah?
It satisfied me, yeah. I found it very satisfying. I think that, you know, it was never about the mystery. Like, you've had 6 series of not knowing what all the things are. Why do you need to know for the finale? Like, that's the whole point. It's a mysterious organization. It's a shady organization. We don't know what they're doing. Why do we need to know what they're doing? Like, it doesn't put the plot forward. It doesn't, you know, it's not a question. There's no questions raised. It's just like, yeah, that's what it is. You're living it at the same time as the characters. The characters never going to find out what was going on. So why should you get to find out what was going on? It was always about the characters, though. It wasn't about what is the Dharma Initiative. It was about what are these characters doing in this situation.
So you're saying it's the journey?
It was the journey, yeah. Absolutely. It was the journey, and it was the character development. And it was just watching them in all those situations. And then the last series of watching them all get their redemptions, and those that earned it got their redemption, and those that didn't. You know, we found out what happened to all the characters. We know what happened in their life. We know how their life ended. You know, they had a chance to see what it could have been like in the afterlife after Jughead went off and they got shot into the Flash Sideways universe, and that's cool because that was what happened after they died, and they got a chance to live out their lives the way they would have been if the plane had never crashed, or if they'd have been able to redeem themselves in the way that they wanted. And just to add to that, while we're talking about purgatory, they were not dead the whole time. People that think that have misunderstood the finale.
Okay.
They met up in the afterlife to go on to the final heaven, whatever, rest in place together. They weren't dead the whole time. The whole series was not purgatory.
Okay.
The last seasons, Flash Sideways, were a sort of purgatory where they all lived out their best lives before they got together at the end to move forward. It's all in Jack's dad's speech. It's explained. It's entirely explained in Jack's dad's speech. But everybody
Jack would shut the fuck up, unfortunately.
Well, his dad's not much better, is he? So, you know, there's that whole weird thing about whether he was Locke's dad or not, and that weirdness.
It would have been great if Sawyer just punched him in the face and did the speech, and then just kicked Jack while everyone's cheering.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make Jack jokes the whole time because that's the bit where I can really get my. At least we can make Helen laugh with that.
But I just think Jack is such a good character. He's an arsehole, but I really like the fact that he thought he was trying his best. Like, I don't think at any point Jack thought, I'm the baddie of this. But he was the baddie without really being the baddie. Like, it was as with everybody, their flaws were their downfall.
Yeah.
You know, Sawyer could never help himself but to be like the charming guy, whereas actually that was a front for lots of other stuff. That was a front because as long as he was being superficial, nothing ever hurt him.
Yeah.
You know, and Jack's flaw was his arrogance and his god complex, which really did well for him when he was a surgeon because it made him take risks that nobody else would, and he did things that nobody else could. But it killed him in the end because he decided that he had to be the important one. He was the savior. He was going to save them all. He thought he was Jesus. He even, you know, his dad was even kind of cast as the god figure in the finale, but he wasn't. He was just a man, and that is what killed him in the end.
True.
And I can talk about Lost all day, and everybody's probably really, really bored by now. But I understand why people don't like it. Like I truly get it. I understand why like you would be invested in it, and if you were thinking about it on a level like, yeah, this is about the Dharma Initiative, and you didn't find out what the Dharma Initiative was or what they did, then yeah, I would be pissed off too.
Yeah.
But you know, why do you need to know why a polar bear's there? None of the characters knew why the polar bear was there. Why?
Random scene. Oh my god.
Why would you? Why? No, I'm serious though. Like, why? Why would anybody need to know? It's like, and I loved it because I think one of my other one of the other reasons I love Lost as well is that it was the first show written with the internet in mind. I think.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
You know, I think J.J. Abrams is very, very internet savvy, and he knew that if he put certain things in there and made it in a certain way, people would be talking about it on the internet. Within minutes, there would be theories, and somebody will have categorized, like, there was the Lostpedia that, you know, I used to spend hours on, and it was all like, oh, so what's the, you know, the themes, like the black and white theme always used to come out. The Stephen King references came out, you know, the good against evil, man of science, man of faith stuff.
Yeah.
Through that show like a stick of rock.
Mm.
And just really gave people lots and lots and lots to think about, to talk about, to spot. It rewarded its viewers' loyalty, and it rewarded its viewers' kind of eagle-eyedness as well, like the numbers coming up.
Yeah, there's a lot of like Easter eggs in that show. J.J. Abrams has always been good with that.
Yeah, but
good stuff like
that even the stuff with the numbers is reflected in the Stephen King universe. Like, I think it's in some ways it's an equal parts love letter and pick me to Stephen King as well by Abrams, because it's like I can tell that you love Stephen King because I love Stephen King, and I think people that love Stephen King know that Stephen King books are, if you've ever read like one of the doorstop ones, it's 900 pages of character development and 100 pages of action. So he knew his audience.
Mm.
And that's why the show is like a character development show.
It is. It's like a character piece. It is.
Mm-hmm.
It is a character piece. But
how many people, when they think about it, remember that it's about like a giant spider at the end?
Not much.
Nobody gives a shit about the giant spider, but we all know the kids' names and we all know what they're scared of.
The kids and Pennywise. Yes, that's what we watch.
Yeah.
We watch the journey. The scary.
You know, it's never really explained to you what Pennywise is or who it is. We just know it feeds on fear, which is the same with the smoke monster, isn't it?
Deadlights. That's what I care about, the deadlights. But where the deadlights come from, I'm a lore guy.
Yeah.
I love like knowing the history.
It's true though. You don't need to know about the deadlights. You just don't need to know why he turns into a spider.
I'm a person intrigued. I like the stuff behind.
Yeah.
Going on. I've always been that kind of guy. I'm like, oh man, if they didn't tell me, I'm fine with it. If it's done well, I'm fine with it. Like a Michael Myers. I don't mind. I like the idea of it, of like knowing what's, you know what I mean. I like the idea of it.
Can you imagine how boring 11/22/63 would be if there was 200 pages explaining the science of why there's a time portal in the back of this fridge in this restaurant? Do you know what I mean? No, I'm serious. Like he walks in and there's a time portal in the back of the fridge. Nobody asks why. Nobody needs to know why. All we need to know is that we're going to go and stop JFK from being shot. That's all you need to know. And if he tried to explain it, it wouldn't have worked.
True. So certain things you don't need to explain. It's true. Certain things it has to be a mystery sometimes.
So
I was just trying to work out where Ben was at a funny angle, and he's sitting in a different position that he's normally sitting in.
It's more comfortable this way.
And I'm like, what's happening with Ben? But no, you're just sitting differently. Anyway, yes, I will let other people get a word in.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, sorry, but this is more comfortable for me at the moment. I just decided to move where I can just lay down and do the podcast laying down. I'm not lazy.
Enjoy the majesty of Helen right now. Just breaking down the show. I love it. I'm
gonna get a word in before she opens her mouth again. Right, because Helen knows more about Lost than anyone, so this is going to be good. But season 1, not I'm telling Helen to shut up. I'm not. I want you to talk as much as you want, but
never.
I've got to guide us to the next plot point. Right, season 1. So season 1 introduces the smoke monster, the others, a French woman. That is it. Diane Roosevelt.
Rousseau.
Danielle Rousseau.
Okay.
Danielle Rousseau. Yeah.
So
Danielle's the daughter.
Yeah.
Rousseau is somebody else. I can't remember her first name.
Shipwrecked on the island 16 years before the main story. Alex. They also find a metal hatch, that bloody hatch, where two survivors, Locke and Boone, tried to get the hatch open. Four others. Oh yeah, well, they
Season 1 ended on the hatch.
Yeah.
yeah.
I remember the hatch.
They were
story.
digging down, and then they just hit metal, and then the hatch was there. And yeah, another Stephen King nod, because that's exactly what happens in the Tommy Knockers.
Tommy Knockers, yeah.
And that was the end of season 1. And I think it was like a year in Britain before we got the next series.
Michael, Ginwald, and Sawyer attempt to live on a raft that they've built. And obviously that's the main bit of season 1. That's the stuff they introduce. Is there anything else I've missed?
I'm just trying to think if there was anything other major in season 1. No, I think it was just a very introductory season, wasn't it? It was, everybody's on the beach, everybody's learning to live together. We're finding out a little bit more about people's backgrounds.
Yeah.
But come on, the episode I'm going to pick out in that series, and it was the one with John Locke, when you found out that he was in a wheelchair before the plane crashed.
Yeah.
Oh, that was
honestly,
that was awesome.
what a reveal.
I was like, yes, that was nice.
What a reveal when it was like he was sitting in the office, and was like, look, this isn't for you, and he's like, don't tell me what I can't do. And then it just pans out, and there he is in his wheelchair. You're like, man.
The wheelchair that was rolling around all the my days. That's nice. That was a good review. I like that. That was nice. That was nice. So his face already mythical already. This guy can walk.
And then that's another, we've been talking a lot about Yellow Jackets on this show, but that's another bit that like Yellow Jackets pays homage to, because there's that bit where that person who's benefiting from being on the island,
yes,
or being in the wilderness, takes action to keep them there.
Yes, homage.
Homage, yes.
That's another one. Hey, homage. Oh, I'll say it as well. Homage. Yes. Yeah, so that's true. Yellow Jackets. Yeah. The island. Oh, I didn't even think of Lost. All my days watching Yellow Jackets. I didn't even think of Lost the whole time I was watching it. The clues there. Oh my days. Yeah, you're right. Tied in. Those time we Lost.
Was a lot to Lost, Yellow Jackets, I think. Because it's a very similar format. Same kind of reveal. Same kind of like darting it around time. A bit of mystery involved, revealing itself bit by bit.
Yeah,
love
stuff
it.
in the woods, stuff in the woods and stuff like that. It's a lot of influence from there, that's for sure. I didn't think about it until now. Yeah, you're right. Damn. But yeah, season 1, the Hatch storyline. For some reason, I was watching it and I was like, after season 1, I was like, oh my days. For some reason, it felt like it went on forever, the Hatch, because it was a big plot point.
Yeah, because it didn't get open for like a year.
Exactly. The show, I felt like, I was like, damn. But yeah, it was good storyline. Season 1 was good. Solid.
So obviously, I think maybe we should go through the characters, because season 2. Okay, let's just go through the characters. It might be easier to navigate that way. So you got Jack. We don't give a shit about Jack. So how about Kate?
Kate's interesting. I liked Kate because she wasn't a damsel in distress.
The Wasp herself. And Evangeline Lilly. I can't say her name.
Evangeline Lilly. Yeah.
What do we think of her? I wish she had stayed with Sawyer, but I can be happy with her. And she's hot.
Kate was always an interesting character to me because, she was very much like a tough action girl, and she was never relying on anybody else to look after her. But again, that was also her downfall. Her absolute inability to ask for help with anything.
True.
Was her weakness, her main flaw.
Yeah, she's always been lying to people like, oh, what's wrong? She's like, man, nothing. But the whole season, she was like, nothing. Nah, don't need your help. I'm good. I'll be myself. Oh, my days.
So,
never, ever.
I can't remember.
And that slow reveal that she was the prisoner.
Yes.
Because remember that they realised that they had a U.S. Marshal on the plane, didn't they?
Yeah.
Somebody was being arrested, and she was like there at the beginning, like trying to get her handcuffs off so people wouldn't know it was her.
Mm.
Oh my gosh. Forgot about that. Yeah, she was the prisoner. Yes. She was very at first I was like, she was a mysterious character to me. Like, yeah, that's what I liked. I was like, yeah, interesting. Got like a strong female character in the show, but with a lot of demons.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that's going on. It was peeling back each season.
Yeah, she's an
She hit me
onion.
up layers, and I was like, oh my days, she was good. The character's solid. I love Kate. Kate was awesome. Kate, one of my favorite characters in the show.
Definitely.
Yeah, in terms of character development, yeah, she's like probably. In terms of character development, I'd say Kate was probably the best. In terms of like character development, like overall, in terms of like peeling back layers, acting, solid. I don't know what you guys think, but to me,
No, I think so too. Yeah, I think she had a really cool arc, and I think the more that we knew about her, the more we understood her. Because I think they were very careful to kind of set her up as a bit of a hard ass.
yeah, yeah.
And I don't mean that as in tough. I mean as in kind of emotionally quite tough and like really quite rude and mean at some points as well, and quite what's the word, like the opposite of vulnerable, like just like not allowing ourselves to be vulnerable at all. Quite hard nosed, I would say, rather than kind of tough. So like almost a bit standoffish. But then the more that we knew about her, the more we found out about how she got to where she was. Yeah, very interesting.
Kate's another good one. And Ben, did you like Kate? Kate was okay for you?
I just feel like, I do like the plot twist that she was the prisoner, because it's not the person you think it would be.
Yeah, exactly.
Got a bit bored of her living with Jack in the future, to be honest. It's just a bit. What was it, season 4 and 5, when they flash forward? I was just like, oh god, just shoot him. But they have to go back to the island. Just bloody be with Sawyer. She seems like she regrets it for the whole time.
Well,
and
she
then
does.
Get started on Jack and his bloody tattoo that episode. Jesus Christ, that's
that was. It's up there, isn't it? It's Nikki and Paolo and Jack and his tattoo are the two ones that I just have erased from my memory.
Yeah, Ty Walk was just like, that was horrible to me. I was like, jeez. But yeah, she kind of dropped off of a couple of seasons. I was like, oh my days, the last couple. And she kind of horrid.
Not a fan of Jack and Kate as a couple.
Yeah, never did.
Who's next on your main character list then, Ben?
I'm gonna go with Hurley.
Oh man, I love Hurley so much.
He doesn't have much to do later seasons. He's the first couple
baby.
He's my boy. He's kind of cool. He's a bearded guy. And he's pretty cool. I can't remember his storyline. This is where Helen comes in. Sorry.
Right. Well, Hurley had won the lottery using the numbers.
Yes, I remember that. That was
and it was bringing him nothing but pain. He was literally had the worst luck of any. So like he won the lottery, and then one of his family members dropped dead or something at the same time from the surprise when he won the lottery. And from then on, it was not a good thing. And his whole thing was like he'd ended up in psychiatric care, hadn't he? He'd ended up in a mental health institution.
Yeah.
Because there was an accident and lots of people had died, and he believed he'd brought it on by using the numbers and all that stuff. So he was another one with a vested interest about staying on the island, wasn't he? Because his luck seemed to have changed. So he was constantly surprised
at that point
whenever anything good happened. So he's another one that wanted to stay there and kind of loved it, and that's why he ended up being like the caretaker, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was like, this guy's
spoilers. Sorry, if I have to say spoilers for a show that ended 12 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's fine. You can just get over it.
Yeah, spoiler film review.
But Hurley had a heart of gold. I like Hurley. He was a good dude.
But then there was that really weird kind of episode where it flashed back to Hurley in the institution, and Libby was in there with him.
Yes.
And it was kind of implied that it was all going on in his head in the institution.
Yeah.
Because there was a few people that were, I think, not the smoke monster, but the other one, the smoke monster's spoiler brother, Jacob. Was Jacob there as well? I can't remember. But yeah, it was kind of all implied that it was all in Hurley's head for like one episode, and the next episode they just didn't mention it again.
Yeah, the whole episode's got erased. Still like, yeah, never happened.
Yeah, no, that never happened. But that's fine. Let's just pretend that didn't happen.
Forget about it. Yeah, don't forget about it. Let's talk about it. Make sure happen. But yeah, the whole arc with Hurley when she got them not use them numbers, I was like, that was a great way of doing it as well. Anything from the island stays on the island. You know what I mean? That was the whole point of the arc, with that part of the arc for him, which I liked. Use the numbers, you'll be cursed. Don't use the numbers at all. Keep that back there. Don't bring it to like the world that you're in now, the virtual, the real world, as they call it. You know what I'm saying? Don't touch it. Don't take anything off it. Don't use anything from it, and you'll be fine.
I'm trying to remember what Harley's redemption was. What did Harley have in the flash?
He was near the finale. He stuck around with when the two kids. Oh bloody hell! I can't even remember. The two brothers or something.
No, he reunites with Libby, doesn't he? When he's having his little pre-heaven warm up in the Flash sideways. He was the luckiest man alive, wasn't he? He kept having loads of really good luck, and then he met up with Libby again.
Yeah.
And had his redemption. Oh, my Hugo had his redemption.
Ellie was a man, right? Ellie was tight. Ellie. One of my favorites as well. Man. I was like, come on, man, Ellie, man. He was the volleyball guy. He was the volleyball guy on the island. And like everyone was like, Ellie, we gotta do this. And he'd be like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Yeah, we gotta do it. He was the guy, just the moral compass. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he was the moral compass. I think he was the heart as well. Like he had a lot.
That's why I was angry. Like, whenever he wouldn't be in the episode, people just complain about it. Like, where's Hurley? Where's Hurley? That's basically what happened.
True.
He's gone missing. Like,
but he kind of just disappears for a long time.
Yes, after he just disappears for a bit. Just like goes away for a little bit.
He goes away and does his things, you know.
But it's just a Jack show. It's just a Jack because Jack takes up so much of the time because he's a hog.
He is a hog. He is. It's true.
Okay, so then I'm going to come to John Locke.
Such an interesting character.
John Locke.
What an interesting man. Like, fascinating.
But what an actor, though, because he played John Locke for like 4 seasons and then played the Smoke Monster for 2.
Yeah.
You know, and like, was just... Oh, that episode where he went and he got off the island and he killed himself, and oh, it was so good. Like, just that whole... And I liked it because in some respects, like, Jack and Locke represent the two kinds of viewers of the show, just because, like, Jack is the one that's like, no, I need to see the science. I demand to know the science behind this. There must be a reason. What's going on? Whereas Locke was like, why are you questioning it? This is...
Yes.
He gets very obsessed with the island as well.
Yeah, but because it cured him.
Yeah.
In the same kind of ways, like, he had the same kind of invested interest to stay there, like Rose and Bernard. Oh, yeah. Rose and Bernard. I love Rose and Bernard. I don't know I can't remember when they came in.
I don't know who came in where. I'm just going through the characters and hopefully you can remind me who's who.
All right, so yeah, John Locke was very much like, why are you questioning this thing? Like, it's a
bald head. Yes.
But it's like, yeah, we've been given a gift. Why are we looking this gift, and you know, why are we examining this gift and looking for reasons why, you know, something or someone has given us this gift? Why don't we just enjoy it? And then he had all these survival man skills that he had ready to go on his walkabout that he could use on the island as well, because they needed him, and that was really nice as well because they had somebody there that could, you know, skin some meat if it needed to be skinned and all that stuff. So that was just a nice bit of writing that.
Yeah, he was a survivalist. You know,
he was.
You need me.
But that you know, it's about the balance again, isn't it? You know, man of science, man of faith, the Smoke Monster and Jacob, everything has to balance.
Yeah.
And I think John Locke was the balance to Jack. Because Jack just was like, yeah, I'm a doctor. I believe in science, you know, even though, and I think that's what happened. You know, I think it's very easy to lose faith when you're a human performing what other people consider to be miracles.
Yeah.
Because he was that whole, I'm the top spinal surgeon. I make people walk who can't walk. And it's like, well, and Locke's like, well, this island, you know, this island means that I can walk again. So it's me and the island. And I think that can make people walk again. And I think a lot of Jack's anger came from the fact that, you know, some of it could be down to magic and luck, and he wasn't the only kind of savior complex. Yeah, I think there's a lot of anger in Jack because he wants to be viewed as more than human.
Exactly, and then Locke even said it a number of times as well throughout the show. That's why he butted heads. Locke was the guy from, hey,
I like Locke.
This island is mine. And this island, this is I'm the king here. To Jack, I'm the king.
Yeah.
You're out there, the king in here.
I love Locke. Even if I didn't always agree with his decisions, he was much more interesting and not the bad guy, but like a human being, like a proper grey human being, like not good or bad, just Locke. And I love that.
That's the thing about Lost as well. There was never really any baddies. Like there was danger and there was people that did bad things, but it was all kind of balanced, wasn't it? Like there was always a counterpoint. So whenever somebody did something that you could say was terrible or awful, there was a reason, and it was a reason that you kind of understood. So it was like, oh, Kate's criminal. Oh no, I wonder what it is. Oh no, Kate's escaped and she seems okay, that's fine. Oh, wait a minute, Kate murdered somebody. Oh shit. Oh, but no, wait a minute, it was her mother's abusive boyfriend. So, is it that bad? You know, she accidentally killed her ex-boyfriend in a fire. Okay, that's pretty bad. Oh yeah, but you know, she didn't mean it. Okay, fair enough. You know, there was always something.
Yeah, there was a little grey in there. Everything that done anything, there was a little grey in there. Everything that happened,
yeah, and like, you know, well, this is, we're going to get onto Sawyer in a minute, I suppose, but this man's this awful con man, but also, you know, his father killed himself because he was conned, and if you can't, you know, he didn't want to be victim of that, so it was kill or be killed.
Facts, exactly. See, Sawyer's another one as well. Sawyer's another complex character a little bit as well. So yeah, he's another one. We'll get to it, but yeah. So anyone of you seen 666 Park Avenue?
Yes.
No.
You've seen it, Ben? Okay, that's another Locke. That's Locke once again, another show. the way he acts in that show, this guy is so good, man. He plays Locke. He's amazing, man. That's a great actor. But yeah, quick actor.
Next up is definitely Sawyer.
Yeah.
My boy, best character in the show.
Come on, Ben. Talk on it.
Con man.
What an interesting character. Like, really interesting, complex, because you're like, oh, this is the eye candy, right? This is the eye candy. I know exactly what the deal is with this guy. He's the eye candy. He's just going to spend, you know, the entirety.
He's just going to rise out of the water.
He did. Like, he literally couldn't find his shirt in the season 6 opener. And it was like, oh yeah, how long can we leave it before Sawyer has to find his shirt? Oh, like a whole episode. Excellent.
Where's my shirt? Yeah.
But that's really interesting, isn't it? Because you think, oh man, this is the eye candy. This is going to be like the bimbo, whatever. And then like episode 3, he can't. He's getting headaches because he wants to read, and he needs glasses.
Oh, that was such a great storyline plot point. I loved it.
Like, oh, you think is this guy's going to be a total airhead, but no, he's not. He wants to expand himself, but then he does that. But he's like an entrepreneur as well, so it's like the first few episodes he's like hoarding stuff as well, isn't it, and like selling it back to Jack.
Yeah.
Which, you know, fair fucks, mate. Go for it. You know, if you want to make some money out of Jack, I'm quite happy for you to do that. But yeah, I liked Sawyer a lot. Like, he brought a lot of comedy to it as well. He brought a lot of kind of like the whole thing with people's nicknames and all that. Really was a lot of fun.
Yeah, he was that guy, man. It was dependable. I'll say that as well. Because if something needs to get done, he'd be there. Like, hey, sorry, I need to help with something. Like, okay, I got you.
But his arc as well, like the whole thing was just like the learning how to be vulnerable and learn how to love. Which is why I think Juliet was the right person for him.
That's true, yeah.
Because Kate, he was always had that protector thing of Kate, and she never appreciated that. But his relationship with Juliet was based on both of their strengths.
Yeah. True,
With
yeah.
Kate, it was like, oh, I need to step up for Freckles, big man business. And she was like, oh, you think you're a big man, but I'm an independent woman. And it was that kind of butting heads and cat and mouse that made it quite, that brought the sexual tension. But with Juliet, it was something it was on a lot more solid ground.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It connected more, you know what I'm saying? It was more like clear cut, you know what I'm saying? You didn't have to work so hard, Things. It's just easy. She was in a good way, you know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Yeah, and then in the finale, when he had his little flash sideways redemption moment, he was a policeman, wasn't he? He was there. It was like he chose revenge. He chose to make world better instead of revenge, and he had that moment in the show, didn't he? When he was like, "Am I going to go after this guy, or am I going to try and make things better for the people?"
Yeah. Help out instead of revenge.
And then he found Juliet again.
Juliet. I'm like, go on, Sawyer. Go on. You deserve it.
Take the love, Sawyer. Take the love. Let her love you. And take your top off. It's for a thing.
God, Sawyer, I love that, man. I love that art, man. I felt genuine happiness when I saw that. I was like, oh, God.
I can imagine contract negotiations for each season. So we want you for more. And we're like, well, I want more money. Okay, but you've got to take your shirt off. No, I want more money. Okay, how about 50 million? I'll take my shirt off. You will see these tits. This is where Tara should have been. Titty man. Like, man, he's built.
This is it. This is Sawyer, the fuck out of Tara, man. Look at that, man. Stop. Damn it. The titty lord himself, Sawyer, man. Bro. Yeah, good dog, man. Good dog for Sawyer, man. He's one of the favorites.
And he ended up with a better woman than Kate. So,
yes.
At the end of the day, he didn't lose out. That's the main thing.
Yeah, he made the right choice, man. He made the right choice. Well, the choice came to him, really, but he made the right choice.
So, I want to talk about Ben.
Ben Linus.
Yeah, I don't remember him.
You don't remember Ben Linus?
You don't remember Ben Linus? Are you insane? Ben
Linus was one of. Oh my God!
The legend of the show.
Oh, he's the guy of the others, the leader of the others. Yes.
Yes.
I just dropped it. Yes.
The one that dropped in a parachute, and then turned out to be one evil motherfucker at the end.
Ultimate darkness.
He reminds me a lot of Anthony Hopkins in The Silence of the Lambs when you first meet him. A little bit weird, and that's a good thing because he's a great actor. I love him. Absolutely adore Ben. He's such an interesting character. And he's played by Henry Gale.
Something like that, yeah. He was Zepp in the first Saw film, wasn't he?
Michael Emerson.
No, he's portrayed by Michael Emerson. Sorry,
that's right. Yeah, Henry Gale was the guy that he pretended to be when they first found him in a tree. They said his name was Henry Gale.
Yeah,
which was a little Wizard of Oz.
You know why I remember his name? Because I always remember his name because I watched a show called Evil.
Yeah.
So good in that. Oh my goodness, so good in that. But yeah, this guy's incredible. This show, I was like, oh, when he came out, I was like, yo, this is when just Lost this went up a whole nother level.
Yeah.
And I was like, go on, man. And so I started really getting into Lost. As soon as he popped up, I was like, let's go. I'm strapped in. And Ben Linus showed up. He's like, yes. And I would have pretended to be a victim the whole time. I don't know what happened. What's happening? And I was like, oh my days, that voice. That voice alone just cracks me up. I'm like, oh my days, this guy pretends to be so innocent. Yeah, he's like one of those.
Yeah. Such a good actor, and genuine redemption arc too. Like an absolute, like when he had to be nice to Jack to keep his. It wasn't Juliet. It was Danielle, wasn't it?
Yes.
I can't remember, but yeah, he didn't. But if you notice in the finale, Ben Linus didn't go into the church with him.
Yeah, he didn't go in. He didn't go into the light. He didn't step into the light.
He wasn't ready.
Yeah.
So he couldn't go, and Ben Ben couldn't go inside, and Anna Lucia couldn't go inside either because she hadn't had a redemption for killing Shannon.
Yeah, so they're still trapped right now.
Yeah, they're still trapped in the netherworld, but yeah.
Issues to be resolved.
And Ben Linus was a really good, because like if we want to say that man of science, if Jack was the man of science and Locke was the man of faith, Ben Linus was the man of blind faith.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he really represented the danger of just believing in something wholeheartedly without questioning it and without taking stock.
Yeah.
Because his determination to be one of the others and, you know, to lead that and to just be blindly kind of putting forward this whole agenda of the Dharma Initiative without knowing anything about it, that was, you know, that's what I think that's what he was supposed to represent. Like, you know, you can have faith, but make sure that you know what you're doing.
At the same time, yeah.
And you don't lose your morals to stick to that faith.
Exactly. Don't lose yourself at the same time. You know
and don't lose yourself because faith should enhance you. It should not overcome you.
I like that. Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then he was just like, I was just doing stuff just because. You know what I'm saying? Because that belief.
Yeah.
So strong.
Yeah.
He's like, I gotta do it. It's gotta be done.
It's gotta be done. Yeah. And never stop to think about why or how or the people that it would hurt or damage.
Yeah.
No. Or grey, you know. The show is very much about black and white, literally and metaphorically.
Yes.
And
For him, it was black and white.
Yeah.
Or not at all. Just don't make it done.
Exactly.
The show with a lot of grey, he was the black and white. That was him in the show.
Yeah. But I think it's really hard to have like I'm not going to call him a villain because I think he was an anti-hero. That's got. It's really hard to write an anti-hero with substance.
That's true.
Yeah.
Like especially in like American stuff, it's always about how it's almost cartoonishly evil because you've got to say, you know, I think with the way that the American audience sometimes works, it's like people might as well be holding up a sign saying, "I'm the baddie."
Yeah, there's no subtle.
Yeah, and I think that Ben Linus was. I don't think he did some evil things, but you never thought that this man is evil. He always played it as kind of terrified under the surface, didn't he?
Yeah.
Like there was always that little whenever he was kind of given the order for something really bad, there was always that kind of just slight waver in his voice or that look of uncertainty.
Yeah. It's true. There was always
What an actor! What an actor!
Everything was in his face, facial expressions. He's like one of the best at that. He's like do a look.
Like a thousand things going on
his
that
face. He don't even have to say anything. He looks around. He might do a side look. Well, that's it. That's all you need. That's it.
I just remember whenever he was like really trying to steal himself, he did that thing. We kind of lifted up his chin and it wobbled a bit.
Yes. The little
and then he would like flare his nostrils, like almost like taking a deep breath and grounding himself, and he'd be like, right, that's when Ben Linus is about to do something very, very bad that he doesn't 100% know why he's doing it, but he's going to do it because that's what he's been told to do.
Destiny.
Yeah. Also because like I always said between American and British actors, there's always. And I'm not being rude here. We're a lot more subtle than American actors. Sometimes we do it subtly and better. And this guy reminds me of a British guy, the way he acts. Like his villain is, he doesn't eat the scenery. Doesn't overplay it. Very subtle.
Yeah, and that's the thing, you know, the lines that character had, and some of the things that character did. It would have been very easy to slip into kind of like magnificent bastard role.
Yeah.
He's very creepy looking though. He's got a great creepy smile.
Works this his role, everything that he does is incredible. And then if you notice, he doesn't say a lot. If you notice, if you see like his roles, what he does in the show, his script. It's not a lot what he's saying, but it's just the gravitas. You know what I'm saying? What he says, you feel something big. Whenever he talks, it's something big that's happening. So,
it's a moment, isn't it? It's an absolute moment.
You know, something's going down. You're like, oh my days, he's going to talk. Oh, Ben's about to say something. It's gonna be big deal. So you got to listen.
Yeah.
And I like that. He's the only one that, in terms of like that, he's like probably him and Locke. Probably the best with that stuff like that. Them two main ones.
I think you never really knew what Locke was thinking. That's why that's
Yes.
the choice that actor made. Like he was so inscrutable, and then when he was inhabited by the smoke monster, everything that actor did became a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
And you could kind of see him trying to make it smaller so people would be fooled.
Yeah.
Yeah. He do little things and say something and just Locke does it really well, so he does a little smirk. He do something and Locke is like goes.
Yeah.
There's little things like that.
Yeah, that yeah. You'll keep little.
Yeah. He'll say something like, "Oh yeah, yeah, yeah." And it's like,
Okay.
That's it. And then you see the cynicism in the eyes, and that's it. You don't have to say nothing else. You just be quiet. You just give me a look though.
Yeah. What do you think of that, Jack? Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bitch. Yeah, Jack.
With your science.
With your fucking little tattoo.
With your science and your facts. Where were you when my spine broke, huh? Where were you? Oh yeah, I didn't have enough money, did I?
Yeah, exactly.
I live in America where you have to pay to have feet.
America.
Let's talk about Boone, because Boone, he wasn't there for long.
Oh yeah, Boone and his weird incest relationship with his sister Shannon.
Yeah.
Yeah, you so much you've forgotten, isn't it?
That was a picture. I literally forgot about it.
I had to look at a picture to remind myself of who he was.
Ian Somerhalder, isn't it? I was never that impressed by Boone and Shannon and their whole thing. It felt a bit unnecessary to me. I understand why they were there, because I think TV executives need to have I think it's one of those things about American TV as well. You have to have like the cast of The Breakfast Club in every episode. So you have to know who everybody is, and I think who we're going to have as the young hot people. I think there was a very hastily put together. Oh, you'll do and you'll do and you'll do. I think they were put there to appeal to a certain demographic, to make the appeal base as broad as possible. I like that Boone. I would have expected in a lesser show Boone to have attached himself to somebody like Sawyer or what's that guy's name? I've forgotten the other one. What's his name? I would expect him to attach to Charlie or
Charlie,
okay. or Side.
Oh yeah.
That kind of tough guy, I think, would have been more like the kind of person that Boone would have been wanting to be friends with. But the fact that he made friends with Locke was a really interesting choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was different. I like that
because it opened up some of the stuff for like Boone's father and Boone's parental situation. That was kind of like, all right, Boone's got daddy issues, that's fine. That's why he's friends with Locke. But it was just an interesting choice. Like, I think it would have been very easy to have like Boone team up with Sawyer and have like we're the blue-eyed magnificent bastard hot squad. But they didn't. They paired him up with Locke, and I think that was really interesting. I don't think it was a good choice. I think because I think Locke really feels, because then we found out later down the line that kind of Locke had been conned into thinking he was in relationships and things like that, and has his own abandonment issues from being adopted and all those kind of things. So I think the fact that he looked for like a son figure was a good and interesting choice. I can, but it could have been easy to
someone to mentor him.
Yeah, somebody to mentor, and I think that's what he was missing. That's what he was always looking for, was somebody to kind of take under his wing, show them the way.
What was his occupation again? What did he do again? What's his job again?
Locke's job. Wasn't he some kind of sales rep?
Yeah, it was something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think. I got a feeling did he not work in the hospital?
Because I know he was selling something. He was selling something. Because when you said the sales, I knew what his occupation was.
He was a box company office worker.
Ah.
And in the Flash Sideways, he was a teacher, so he took his little learning from what he did with Boone, so that whole kind of mentoring, teaching him the ways of the.
That's what I always remember. He was a teacher, but he wasn't really a teacher.
Yeah, he was a teacher in the Flash Sideways. He wasn't a teacher in his actual job, so he had like a kind of very anonymous, very American sitcom job.
Yeah.
But then in the Flash Sideways, when he was having his little redemption moment, teacher.
I remember the teacher part of it. Every time I think I've lost, I'm like, oh, he's a teacher. And I was like, oh, he wasn't the actual teacher, he was just a normal office worker.
Yeah.
Like, no. What scene was that? But yeah.
And they had that whole thing where they were all like laughing at him in the office because he said he was going to go and walk about.
Yeah. They roasted him. Oh, snap. Oh, sad.
But yeah, no, I'm like, Boone and Shannon was a bit of a weird one. I don't know why they chose to have like weird kind of, and it wasn't even in like an incesty subtext, was it? They were straight up boning each other, I think.
Yeah, they were guaranteed.
Yeah, a bit icky, but
yeah, there was no hiding that. That's for sure. There was no hiding that.
Yeah, I think Shannon was a bit not disappointed, and I think disappointed is the right word actually, in some of the character choices that they made for her, because I think it was very simple to make the pretty blonde girl like the one that complains all the time.
Okay, so we covered Shannon at the same time. That's good. They both kind of had the same.
Well, exactly. Yeah, and then Anna Lucia shot her.
Oh damn!
Right. So Michael. Whoa!
Oh, no! Whoa! I did. Every time I see Lost, I'm like, Walt. The show is about Walt.
Well, they had, well, that's what I thought. No, they had the whole Walt is magic thing, didn't they? That they never really explored. And then they realised that the actor was aging too fast for the timescale that they had on the filming, so they had to send him off.
Yeah.
And that was it.
For a long time, and then the storyline got weaker because the plot wasn't like kind of lining up because of what they made for him. His character
Michael was a more interesting character. His father was a lot more interesting. I like Michael. He didn't get used properly in Lost. I felt sorry for him.
Well, there was that whole thing about feeling inadequate, wasn't there? The whole storyline was about him kind of feeling inadequate for a father.
Yeah. He was one
Walt's mum. If I remember correctly, Walt's mum had died, and he was going to pick him up, wasn't he, and bring him home, quote unquote home.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, whole angle crazy. The others got to him. They want to bring him over. Well,
they had his son, didn't they? They had his son.
Yeah.
What?
That arc. And I was like, oh man. And then that kind of kicked off another storyline. Because I think even the original actor said like his storyline just got weird after a while, which it did.
Yeah, I totally forgot that Shannon got together with Said.
Oh snap!
Oh yeah, I completely forgot that.
I literally forgot about that.
We'll talk about Michael.
Yeah, no, I know we're talking about Michael, but I was just thinking, like, I'm pretty sure I forgot to say something about Shannon, and yeah, she went out with Said.
Woohoo.
They had their whole thing, didn't they?
Said's another hot man, bit of man ass.
There was some excellent man titties on that one. But yeah, Michael, I think that it was a shame that they didn't think about casting a young guy and filming schedules and all that stuff, because Walt aged very, very quickly, and I'm pretty sure in the series 5, Mike didn't go to see Walt, the one where they flashed forward and
he's massively big.
Yeah, he's huge.
Yeah.
There was always that theory that it was all in Walt's head, wasn't there? Because Walt seemed to have loads of connections to things that were happening and what stuff.
That was the rumor going around. It's all Walt. Walt! It's all about him.
Yeah, but then the others kidnapped his son, and then Michael had to turn against them, didn't he? And but they got him off, so
yeah. Jeez.
He did spend a lot of Michael's personality was divorced for a little while though. Like that was all his.
That was his whole stick.
His whole personality.
That was it. Where's Walt?
every
Where's-
year.
Where's Walt? I want to see my son. Why don't you love
I'm
me anymore?
divorced. Where's my son? Whoa, I'm divorced. Whoa.
Whoa, yeah.
He tried to get women. You know, I'm divorced. Yeah.
That defined him. I've never seen one word just define someone so much.
You wanna have a shag? Have you seen my son? I'm
Divorce
divorced.
isn't
Wanna have a
just
shag?
the
Have a shag in the bush? Like,
yeah.
there's
Divorce is a
what's
state
that
of
there?
mind for some people.
Oh man, damn.
Had some arguments on the internet with men who are profoundly divorced.
Really?
But yeah, it's it was once he'd kind of got something to do that wasn't protecting his son or being divorced, I think, and I think that actor's a really good actor and he was really underused as well.
Was. Everyone was looking forward to him, like what he's gonna do in that show. Once Walton got out of the way, they were like, okay, let's get kicking now, let's get it moving.
Yeah, we've
Nothing
dealt
came
with the aging, the actor aging too quickly by putting him on a literal bus that's made of a raft, and off they pop.
Just disappeared, gone. Oh my gosh, that whole storyline was so weird to me. I was like, oh my gosh, this whole storyline of these kids, and I was like, oh, come on, Michael, come on. Even people that were writing the show was like, hey, come on, Michael, let's do something else, please. Let me give him a better storyline, please. Why does he keep going crazy? Why is everything for his son? Never went anywhere, really, to be honest, for Michael. But yeah, that's the kind of end of his arc, to be honest. So, hopefully, what to say about Michael. Coming back. So I'm gonna say on that. Yeah. So, what do you guys think? Michael? What do you think? Last thoughts.
Yeah,
Utilized.
I think he was done dirty. His character was done dirty. I think he could have been a lot more interesting.
The minute Walt left, I feel like the character got moved off to the side. They're like, right, well, we haven't got anything for you now. Walt's too big, so
Yeah, I think so. And I think his personality went from divorce to missing son, and that was all of it, really.
I didn't want to live apparently, so I was like,
right.
Lost.
So let's go to Miles.
That's a deep cut. Miles only came in at like season 4 or something.
I know, but I'm just
relate.
Characters one by
He
one.
was one of the scientists that kind of landed.
He's quite a good actor. I've seen
With
so many things now. Actually, the
with the
first time I
Hawking.
saw this actor. Sorry to interrupt. First time I saw this guy was on Lost. He's done a lot of work since Ken Lung. He's done a lot of stuff since. Good actor.
No, I really like Miles. I'm trying to remember because he wasn't in it for long, but he was one of the kind of gang that came in with Faraday and what's the other one? There was 3 of them, wasn't there? There was 3 scientists.
Yeah, it was favorite. Him and the Mexican guy, and then someone else.
Faraday, like it was his mum, Eloise Hawking's son.
Yeah.
And that's why she was trying to find out about time travel because he killed her, didn't she? Killed him, didn't she?
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah, she stabbed him, or she shot or stabbed him. And I was like, oh man, he's dead. I was like, oh man, I love that actor as well, good actor. But I was like, damn, killed him very quick. Oh man, I want to get a bit more out of the actual character, but hey.
Yeah, that was it. It seemed like Faraday's mum, because I think didn't he die when Jughead exploded, or didn't he die to explode Jughead or something like that? Because Faraday was his name, and I think in the Flash Sideways at the end, his mum had to get him onto the island to seal everybody's fate. I'm pretty sure his mum made sure he was.
And he got trapped in there.
Because Eloise Hawking was in with Penny's dad.
Yeah.
Who was Jim Robinson on Neighbours.
I think, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think I can't remember because I talk about Lost a lot and I love Lost, but I've only watched it once because I don't think I could deal with it ending again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't. I watched that little bits and I was like, no, the ending.
I mean, I love the ending, but I think I was so devastated when it was all over. Like I'm still not emotionally ready to watch it all again.
Yeah.
Oh, roller coaster. Yeah. that's what I mean as well. Once you watch these long-running shows, the invested it's just like when you see the ending, you're like, oh man, void.
Yeah, I know, and it can be hard as well because you're like, oh, I don't want to watch that person die, and I started to try and watch it, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to watch this guy die again, and I'm gonna have to watch that thing happen again, and I'm gonna have to watch so and so die again, and like, no, I'm not gonna do it, man. Can't.
That's what I do. Watch the show again up to a certain point, and you just stop. Like, nah, I gotta see the rest of it.
Who's next on your list, Ben?
Sorry. Right. So that was a really quick one. Ana Lucia. Don't remember her.
Ana Lucia was Michelle Rodriguez. She
Oh, yeah,
came
she's
in.
quite
She was
hot,
one.
yes.
She was one of the tailies. So it was Ana Lucia, Libby, Rose and Bernard,
Yeah.
and Arts, who just randomly exploded in the 5th series. And they were like, "Oh, you got a bit of Arts on you."
Oh, geez, that's the first thing.
Ana Lucia, I can't remember. Was she a cop? I just remember that she got shot. She shot Libby, didn't she?
Yeah,
At the end.
She a cop? I think she was a cop. I think so. I think she was a cop.
She was a cop, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Ex-police officer with deep-seated emotional issues. So I think she had drug and alcohol issues, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, she had a ton of issues.
But she was like the anti-Kate, wasn't she? She was like very similar to Kate, even in like stature and looks. And I don't think Kate liked that very much.
Yeah, she was like saying whenever they put that in the scene together, she was just giving her a stare, a look. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, so he did the yeah, she appeared in season 2 because there was a whole thing in season 2 where there was like they found out there was people that were on the tail end of the plane that ended on the other half of the island.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh yeah, the tail end of the season 2. Was that season? Yeah, season 2, isn't it? When they found out they were part of the island. Yeah.
Yeah, but she got shot on duty, and she killed the guy that. She got shot on duty, and she was pregnant, and then she miscarried, and then she went and shot the person that shot her.
Yeah.
Revenge, yeah. These little things I've forgotten, man. Little things. I know the characters, but the little things is like the actual backstories of certain people. I'm like, now.
Yeah, I seem to, because I was like, why is she so angry? And it's like, yeah, she she was there as a bodyguard for Jack, so she was working in private security.
Yeah.
And then when he died in Australia, didn't he? So she was either coming back with a body.
Yeah. The bodyguard Michelle Rodriguez. She's a good little character as well. These are an all-star cast. The show.
Michelle Rodriguez is great, isn't she?
She's hot.
I love Michelle Rodriguez.
Yeah, she's a good actress as well. Dr. Charlotte Staples Lewis. She was a scientist on a mission to the island where the flight crashed.
Oh, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Wasn't she? She was in Faraday's crew, wasn't she? She was English.
Yes.
Yeah, she was She was with Miles Chung and.
Yeah, she was with those guys.
And Faraday, that's right. Yeah, I don't remember much about her.
Yeah, she's kind of just around.
We can move on because we should only really talk about the most important ones, like the ones that are in the background. We can just kind of let go. Frank, he was a pilot in season 4. I can't remember him. Oh no, I do actually. Yes.
Oh, Frank.
Frank was the pilot. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it went anywhere. We've already done Shannon. Oh, Desmond.
Oh, Desmond, my darling Desmond. That opening.
The hair. Jesus Christ, he's so
a legendary hair. That's what it is. That legendary.
He had such a great story arc.
So the opening of season 2 was them coming down, getting the hatch open, and it was like this guy just going through his day in this like kind of underground bunker. Then you realised that it was the man that was living in the hatch.
Just a great what the F word opening to season 2. You're just like, what's going on? Who's this?
Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. just so like we were like, what's down there? I wonder what's down there. And it was a person who was pressing a button to stop the world from exploding.
Gosh, incredible. Believed it, like press the button. The 24 moment, I loved it.
Yeah, you got to press the button every 118 minutes.
Yeah.
And then he just realized that he had help, and that was just like. But then that managed to bring in Penny and all of that stuff, and just beautiful, 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 beautiful.
Penny. that was like the new version of Water at that point. It was like Penny.
And just, start of the best episode, which is The Constant. Just all that time jumping about and just knowing that he's got somebody that he can hold on to mentally, and that was his Penny. But yeah, I mean, my only complaint about the Desmond stuff was the scenes when he was supposed to be in England. The sets were so bad.
Yeah.
Like, so bad. It's like, this is London. Hello, everyone.
Yeah, London town, Colin.
Oh my god.
Like,
yeah, that's horrible.
Such kind of location stuff. But yeah, Desmond, are you alright, brother? And Desmond kind of linked everybody together, didn't he? Because he'd gone on that round the world sailing trip.
Man, Desmond character, man.
And that's how he'd ended up there, and he'd been like indoctrinated.
But
his whole relationship with Penny was absolutely beautiful. I love those two kids.
It was good. It wasn't one of the great relationships for the show. Them two. Perhaps the best, maybe, to be honest. But yeah, my favorite Helen. So Penny and Desmond.
Baby.
Baby. But yeah, that's my the best. Desmond's the man.
Desmond was a great character. Absolutely amazing. And another one that really was very much like fate will provide.
Yes, he was.
Very open, very kind of loving, and just wanting to know about people and wanting to know how they worked, and just wanted to be, he wanted a family, didn't he? That's why he called everybody brother. And his relationship with Penny, what landed him on the island and what helped him kind of get off it in the end, I suppose.
Yeah, family oriented, man. He's wanted someone to connect. He's wanted to connect. That's what his character was, just to connect.
Yeah, exactly.
We've been at it for so damn long. He wanted to just interaction. So he wanted at that point, like, come on, man, come on, my friends, like my brothers, my sisters.
Yeah, but
yes,
the party's arrived.
Yeah, exactly. Can't we all just get along, man? Come on, man. Can't we all just get along?
But that I kind of remember that realization that they weren't actually the cavalry; they were just as lost and confused.
His face. His face. He saw it. He was like, "Oh my!" He's like, "Yes,
somebody's here to help me. Do you know what's going on?" Nope.
He was like, "I'm free." Oh my gosh, that expression just changed. I was like, "Oh my god." Oh man, that was funny as heck, though. Oh my god. That's he was the man. I forgot how good Desmond was, man. That Helen just brought it off my head, man. Oh man, I forgot how good Desmond was. Desmond was a character.
Are we happy with his ending?
Oh, Desmond.
I'm looking because I did make some notes about what happened to everybody, but the Desmond bit, I'm not. He really wasn't.
Yeah, I can't remember what happened to Desmond in the end. He's the only one.
No, hang on. I think in the first side he had the approval of Penny's father, or something that he'd never had in the real world, and he got to meet Penny again with this, and I think he got the chance to save baby Charlie. No, he didn't. He in the first side didn't he stop Charlie from doing something, or there was there was definitely an incident that he kind of intervened to help Charlie, whereas before he'd had to let Charlie drown.
Yeah,
he did.
Because it was at the Pearl station they were out on, and Charlie was dying, and You know, like had that like really iconic, like not Penny's boat.
Yeah, not Penny's.
And I think Desmond, yeah, didn't he had the chance to save Charlie in the Flash Sideways. I think that was his redemption, wasn't it? But I'm pretty sure I'm trying to remember what happened to him on the actual island, and I'm finding it hard. But I've got Lostpedia open, my old friend.
Hmm. Oh, I used to be on that all the time. Lostpedia, oh my gosh.
It's still there. It's still there.
No, I mean, it's so long. Oh my gosh, memories, flashback. Oh my gosh. Remember, Desmond was that one of the key characters, man.
Okay. Resultant implosion gave.
When you get this right, guys, we're looking for this.
Yeah, Desmond and Penny married. So like he travelled in the parachutist boat and escaped after making contact with Penny. He and the Oceanic Six then encountered Penny's boat, which led them to rescue. Desmond and Penny married and had a son. They hid it from Charles Widmore till a dream convinced Desmond to seek him out. Widmore returned Desmond to the island, where the Man in Black and Jack both used him to deactivate the heart of the island. And he was the first one to recall his life after his death. And he went on a mission to help his friend remember theirs. He eventually succeeded in awakening his friend, and then, along with Penny, they moved on. That was it. He was the one that was going around getting them all to realise that they were on their way to heaven.
Oh, he was the guy. He was basically the ferryman.
Yeah.
Penny for the ferryman. Yeah, that was him going around helping people realise they're
waking them up.
Yes. Waking up the dead. Okay.
God, did you ever think in your whole life you'd ever use the sentence "deactivate the island"?
Yeah, deactivate the island. You gotta go deactivate the island. Don't blow it up, just deactivate it, man. Don't blow it up, just deactivate it. Oh, it's a weird phrase. Saying that, it's weird.
Can we speak about Charlie next?
Yes. Charlie's my boy, Mr. Druggy, Mr. Guitar Man.
Well, that was the other thing. Charlie was quite outspoken about how much he didn't get on with Matthew Fox, which was one of the reasons that he kind of had a sharp exit as well, if I remember correctly.
Charlie
allegedly.
did like Charlie at the same time, didn't he? He liked Charlie as well. Charlie liked doing the Charlie. Hey.
Well, that was it. He was a heroin. No, it wasn't Charlie. It was heroin.
You ruined my joke.
I know, but I'm sorry to ruin your joke with facts.
Well, I don't blame him for hating Matthew McConaughey.
Fox.
Oh, no, Matthew Fox. Matthew McConaughey is a nice person, apparently.
No, he's a legend. He's a legend.
Matthew Fox can fuck off.
Damn.
But yeah, in the Flash Sideways, he had a rock and roll lifestyle without being a drug addict, and he met up with Claire again. And Desmond intervened, didn't he, and was like, "No, brother, take a better path," or something along those lines. But I really like Charlie as a character. Like his whole relationship with Claire was so sweet. They really loved each other, and it was proper genuine as well.
Yeah, it was.
And he was really there for baby Aaron. I just remember that scene with him, like with the imaginary peanut butter. It was so cute. Oh, Charlie.
While we're talking about Charlie, I just want to bring up Claire. Let's just do them together.
Yeah. Well, Claire was the one that was supposed to be putting her baby up for adoption, and then she was in a pesky plane crash, and then she had to bring up her baby on the island. But because the baby was like the first baby that wasn't conceived on the island to be born on the island, the baby was all right. But all the other babies seemed to be having problems.
Mm-hmm. She was like the main.
Well, the thing is, they never quite get those two together. It's like the great what if Charlie and Claire never quite get together.
That was it. Well, they won't date type of thing.
Yeah.
Well, they got together in the Flash Sideways though, forever and ever and ever.
Yeah.
He didn't die because he died warning everybody that the boat that they were all risking their life to let in was not pennies.
Yeah.
You had that whole not pennies boat thing.
Not pennies boat.
But you know, what was the name of his band? Oh my god, that's going to annoy me.
Name as well. I literally can't.
You all everybody. I know the song was called "You All Everybody."
Charlie's freak. I didn't recall all these things.
You
Sing for me.
Sing for me, sanity die. Let's see.
I think her was much more interesting when she had a baby stuck up her. When that baby came out, she wasn't so interesting. Like most.
Well, then her personality pretty much became they're trying to kill my baby. They're trying to take my baby.
Yeah.
Have you seen my son? No. Have you seen my baby? No. It's thinking my baby. Whoa.
Do you know what? It did get to a point where if I didn't hear the word Aaron in an Australian accent ever again, I'd be a very happy woman. The band was called Drive Shaft.
Drive Shaft. There we go.
And it was a band from Northern England that had two brothers in it that were notorious for arguing. That was in no way based on anybody in real life ever.
Drive Shaft. Oh my gosh, yeah. Oh, baby saw that. My goodness, so annoying. I was like, there's nothing after that.
But Charlie was another one who kind of wasn't really in his best interest to leave the island, and I think that's why he got on with John Locke so well, because John Locke helped him get off the drugs. I know that bit, but he was very much aware that getting off the island and leaving that situation would put him back in the situation that got him addicted to drugs in the first place. So I think he was another one who was like, yeah, I'm happy here.
Yeah,
and if it's a choice between leaving or dying, I'm gonna die. Thank you very much.
Okay, so we covered Charlie, and should we talk about Charlie a bit more then instead of Claire? There's so many characters here. Yeah.
Well, I think if we want to really go through the main ones, I think we need to talk about Saeed pretty soon.
Yeah, I'm just going to go through the main ones now. I'm not going to talk about half of these people. Echo.
Oh, Mr. Echo, man.
Oh,
Mr. Echo was a wonderful. He was here on the tail end.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Season 2.
Mr. Echo and his Jesus stick.
Yeah.
What a man.
Echo. Kind of state legend. Yeah. This sounds cool. He walked around with the black smoke, the black mist.
Yeah.
Look at her. I was him the whole time watching her out in the mist. It was him. No, stop it.
Mr. Echo.
Didn't he just get killed?
The plane fell on him.
Oh yeah, he was there for a short time, and then we just.
Well, he was there because he was moving drugs dressed up as a priest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he crashed on the island and kind of was a kind of metaphorical rebirth, and he found his calling on the island and became kind of very deeply spiritual and religious, didn't he? I think because didn't his brother die when the drug deal went a bit wrong or something? I can't remember something like that. So he was kind of always trying to atone. So there was this whole kind of atonement thing happening with him, which was happening with everyone. But
kept seeing him on the island, walk like different random places, like seeing Shadow around places.
Yeah, I think yeah, I'm pretty sure the plane. No, that was Boone. The plane fell on her. What happened to Mr. Echo? Right, I'm going to look that up while you guys talk amongst yourselves.
I was speaking of the top, I was like, I can't remember that, but I can't remember what happened to him. Literally, something happened and it was like quick. He was out of there, and I was like, this guy died so fast.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure something happened. That was.
Yeah, I can't remember how he died though. I never remember how Mr. Echo died. I never remember. It just leaves my head every time I see him on the show.
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look it up on Lostpedia right now, because if they don't tell us, nobody will.
Yeah,
that's true.
Oh my god, Mr. Echo is one of the most intriguing characters, man. That was a priest drug runner. That whole stuff that was amazing. Man. Walk around and stick like. Man's walk around just do Moses like 40 days, 40 nights kind of thing. I loved it, man. Redemption arc also. Oh god. Echo. Then
Mr. Echo was one of the tailies.
okay.
Says, hang on.
Mr. Echo.
Before the crash, Mr. Echo was attempting to smuggle drugs out of Nigeria by pretending to be his priest. His brother Yemi, a real priest, was killed in the crossfire. Did it say? I missed it. It just jumped.
Okay, while you're talking about that,
Okay, so yeah,
Saeed.
Saeed was also a Saeed. That was good, man.
I want to know out of a death match.
Hang on, that was it. Sorry, Mr. Echo stood up to the smoke monster, didn't he? And the smoke monster.
Yes.
And the smoke monster smoked him.
Yeah.
Smoked him. Yes.
That's
what I was saying about the smoke monster, because he was like literally searching for the smoke monster for the longest.
Well, he stood and looked the smoke monster, and he tried to like kind of square up to the smoke monster. And that's what happened.
Tried to rebuke the monster.
Saeed.
So out of Sawyer, Saeed, and Desmond, who has the most wet hair, beard combination going on? Who's the sexy boy out of the three, the big 63 boys on the island?
Is this you asking me which out of those three that I would like to enjoy spending some time with?
Yes. And Tree looks like he's interested as well.
I mean,
like...
I
don't know about you.
I think Hurley is probably more my type out of all of them, but I think it would go Sawyer, Saeed, Desmond.
They should have done a lost calendar with those three guys with their shirts off, just in their hair wet. But yeah, we know we're sexy.
Wow.
I think Saeed was an interesting one though, wasn't he? Because he had that whole he had obviously had a shady past, and it was kind of alluded to that he was involved in terrorism, but was never quite explicit. And I think that was a very deliberate choice. I think it was to confound the expectations of the viewer. Right? I think it would have been very easy to have made Saeed a terrorist.
Yeah.
But it was a bit more complex than that.
Yeah.
He was another one that had kind of it indirectly caused the death of his girlfriend Nadia, hadn't he?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it had directly caused it, but there was another person that was looking for a lot of atonement and to kind of escape from a lot of things, like most people on the island. But he was an interesting character, an interesting actor as well. I really liked the actor. I thought he was really good.
Yeah, he's one of the better actors in the show.
But yeah.
Saeed.
Flash. Because and then I think the thing is, in the Flash sideways, he didn't get back with Nadia. He left her with his brother, and then killed the bad guys to protect her, and like made sure that she was okay. So that was his kind of atonement, was just making sure that Nadia was all right in the parallel universe, and then moving on to go and be with Shannon.
Who doesn't want to be with Shannon?
Yeah, no, I did like Saeed as a character. I thought it was very interesting. It was like, yeah, I think it would have been very easy to paint him as a kind of actual terrorist, but it was a lot more complex than that, I think. Which is it was every character in Lost, wasn't it?
Yeah, everyone has their own complexity to whether it's high or low, but there's complexity to every character in the show.
But I think I liked it when Desmond tipped up, because he was the kind of Saeed's, the one that was most like Saeed. Like, I think he had a toughness that none of the other characters had, and some skills that nobody else had. But then Desmond came along, who was very similar, and it was interesting watching those two interact.
Yeah,
because there was this kind of mutual respect, but mutual kind of I'm watching you,
yeah, at the same time.
because that they both had that kind of like glint of something else, something tougher. Like they'd both seen some shit, man, and I think that was probably because Desmond was ex-military as well, wasn't he?
Yeah. He was, yeah.
There was a kind of understanding that they'd both seen some shit.
You can't say it's no words need to be said type of thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
People go, yeah, I get it. I understand you. You know what I'm saying? Let's get it done. That's cool, man. That's cool. Side was he was complex. Even like towards the end, there's like stuff that they revealed. You could tell there was more they could have revealed at some point, but there's more layers there. They could have went down. There's cut up at a certain point with Saeed. But yeah, he's one of the complex characters of the show. He's one of the bad characters. Oh, yeah.
Right. So, that's Saeed then. And then we're going to do Sin and Sun, Jin and Sun together. The Korean couple.
Yeah, that was a really interesting one.
You didn't see it back then, Asian characters of South Asian descent.
They were Korean, weren't they?
Yes.
Yeah, so there was that whole weird thing with Sun speaking English and not telling anyone.
Yeah.
And then, like, I think
Watch! Michael's watch. He stole Michael's watch. I remember this.
Yeah. And then she had to be like, "Stop! It wasn't him. Stop it!" And then it was like, "Hang on, you spoke in English this whole time." But then we found out she'd learnt English because she was trying to leave him. Yeah. So, and then there's that whole thing about status and her family being rich and Jin's family being poor. But then she was pregnant, and the baby was maybe a candidate, and maybe the baby wasn't
his. Yeah.
And maybe the baby wasn't his, and then was it conceived on the island? And that whole thing. If it wasn't conceived on the island, then it wasn't his. But if he was conceived on the island, then it was potentially at risk because no babies born on the island had lived for a very long time.
Mm.
So when they found the others and that they had loads of medical equipment, then she was quite happy about that. So that was like an interesting little development, because it was like, well, maybe not everybody's unhappy to see all these strangers with all this medical equipment.
Yeah, he's like, oh yes, you have some people with supplies. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, sometimes they were needed. The others were needed.
Yeah, I like Sun. Jin was a bit of a not a great character, but Sun, she's more interesting. I swear one of them had a relationship with someone on the island. Jin had a relationship with someone on the island that wasn't Sun. It was one of the women, wasn't it?
I don't remember that. I think I don't think they ever split up. I think they were very much together, but it was like it was one of those things that what I found really interesting about their relationship and their whole arc was that there was, like, when they were under the pressure of Sun's family and Jin's kind of working class chip on his shoulder, about being fisherman's son and all that stuff, it caused the tension, it caused the divide between them. And I think when they were away from that, they realized how much they loved each other and how much they were compatible and remembered why they were together in the first place. And I think that was really interesting to watch, just about how much kind of expectations can mess with your relationship and how much outside influences can mess with the reasons that you're together.
Yeah.
Which I found really interesting. I did really like watching that, because it was the kind of watching them being torn apart by status and politics and kind of family and interference and all that stuff, and then just really spending that time together one-on-one and just being really good for each other.
True.
In the end. And having Jin not speak English for the first couple of seasons was quite good. It was interesting because they all managed to communicate with him and they all managed to make him included, but it was never treated as a kind of comedy foreigner thing. Everybody always worked quite hard to make sure he understood.
Yeah, to break it down for him.
Yeah.
Like they never like took the risk with it. Yeah. To that. True.
Okay, so the last character I'm going to talk about that is of any worth is Juliet and Richard.
Oh, Richard, yes.
Handsome man.
He's a very handsome man, isn't he? So he was the
Look at that face. Damn.
he was immortal, wasn't he? We found out he was like the protector of the island. So he was the guy. Was it the candidate not going to be the person who was going to replace Richard?
Mm.
I seem to think, I can't remember. Because the whole last series was about finding the candidate, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And
Yes. I think it was the person supposed to replace him. Yeah.
the thing I remember most about Richard was his beautiful, beautiful eyelashes. Almost looked like he had eye makeup on, but that was just his general thing.
I'm not trying to brag or anything, but I got some nice eyelashes too. But yeah. But yeah. He's a good actor as well. The guy, I think, where was he from again? This is the show that I used to watch. He was on it.
He's got a face that I've seen a million times.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was the intermediary between the smoke monster and Jacob and the island, wasn't he?
Yeah, he becomes a much more important character in the last bit of the seasons.
Solid actor, man. The guy's good. Guy is good, but his role. I mean, too much about him as well, but you probably got more about than me.
He came in as a slave on the Black Rock and had been there ever since. And then, like, when they were doing the kind of his episode, he was like through hundreds and hundreds of years of time, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was there for a long ass time. He was there for a long time.
But yeah, he was the human face of the island, wasn't he? So he was the kind of representative.
Like the 1800s or something like that. Some olden days.
Yeah, but he was the kind of intermediary between the supernatural and the present day, and I think that was really important to move the story on. Yeah, but I think there wasn't really much chance for character development in that. I think you never really knew his motives. You never really knew where he was coming from.
Yeah.
Until like the last couple of episodes, and you realised that he was like the human face of the island. Like, hello, I'm your island rep. But yeah. And Juliet was interesting when she came in as well, just because she pissed Kate off so much, and because she was a different kind of tough.
Yeah, Juliet was
like she was tough without being rough, which is I think something that Kate aspired to. But instead of like saying, "Oh, I really want to be more like you," it was like, "I hate you." But Juliet won in the end because she got Sawyer.
Yeah, her and Sawyer on a collision path with their interconnecting pieces, body parts going together like a game of Jenga.
But Kate, I think, but Juliet was like a double, triple, quadruple agent at points, wasn't she? Like you never really knew whose side she was on, and it was always Juliet's side. And I'm all for that. I'm all for that stuff.
And she locked in very well with Sawyer at the end. So
Yeah.
It's lovely.
There's some hand gestures going on there, listeners.
No, but I like Juliet more than Kate because she picks Jack, so she kind of lost my interest. But with Juliet, she was always one step ahead of everyone else. Played as a smart woman. I really respect that.
And she loved Sawyer and accepted Sawyer without trying to tame him.
Yes, that's very important.
I think there was a lot of people saying, "Oh, Kate would be good for Sawyer because she'd calm him down," but no, Juliet was like, "No, I'm just going to love you, and then hopefully you want to be a different type of person, but if you don't, then I'll love that too. I think that was really important. And I think it was important for Sawyer to have a relationship that I said earlier on, didn't I, that was built on solid ground and not fitting together well as it would have been if it was him and Kate.
It was a fucking train wreck.
Yeah, so do you want to...
Because there's that weird part of one of the seasons that started when they were all in cages, and they were all in cages for half the season.
Yeah, that was...
And then Kate and Sawyer got out, and then they just had, like, really bad sex. There we go. There we have it.
So, should we talk about the last bit with how they ended it? Like this whole gods on an island thing, so that we can try and wrap it up? Like this whole what the fuck?
I talked about the ending earlier on, but
So we're gonna wrap it up.
what it was that they didn't die on the island. They weren't in purgatory the entire time. They didn't die in the plane crash. They were all on the island. That was all real. The only bit that wasn't real was the flash sideways, but that was happening after they had died, when they were realizing that they were ready to move on, and they all met at the church at the end because they'd been through this event together that had bonded them, and some of them had been alive for hundreds of years. Some of them had, since the last time I saw them, some had been alive for 2 or 3 years, but they were all in the heaven holding room talking about their experience and waiting to move on. And then when they were all there and they'd all been awoken by Desmond and time to go back to the church, they all went to heaven together. And that was it. And it was lovely and it was beautiful. And I really enjoyed it. But I understand why it made some people angry. But I explained at the beginning, it's like, you don't need to know. There's questions that you don't need to know. And a lot of the things that you asked are relevant, but a lot of them were answered in the episode before the finale too. But you weren't noticing because it wasn't the finale.
I feel like if they had just gone straight to it was all in purgatory, they were dead the whole time without any hard work on the fact to explain it. It would have been the worst of all time stinking endings.
Yeah.
If at least tried to answer it.
Well, yeah, I mean, the thing is that if it was like, oh yeah, they were dead the whole time, sorry, it was all in their heads, that would have pissed me off. But they weren't. They died at different times. Some of them, like I think at the end, something like Harley had been on the island for hundreds of years, being the candidate. Jack died on the island, as we all know.
Yeah.
Making it all about him as per usual.
Yeah.
But I think, I understand why people were annoyed with it, but then I don't understand what those people want. Because do you really want an hour of somebody going, hour of exposition of somebody going, oh, but why was there a polar bear? Well, funnily enough, okay, then we'll tell me about the three-toed statue. Well, that's not a finale. That's not interesting to me. I want to know what everybody would have done if they'd had a chance to do things differently. Every single person on that plane had something gone wrong in their life, something happened to them, or they'd done something that they'd regretted. So what I was interested in was what people would have done if they could have had a chance to do everything over again, and how did people get off the island, and what happened to them, and that was answered for me.
I think if there was someone just explaining the whole, like they're going to season 6, and he's just like, so the polar bear is a pet, la 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 la, this and this and this and this and this. Have we done everything? Right, let's watch the last episode of Lost Kids.
Well, they did do that though. They did do that. They had the short that came out in between the last 2 finale episodes of 2 Dharma Initiative guards talking, doing a handover. And they answered all those questions.
Yeah, but if you didn't watch it online, you would have missed all that.
Exactly, but people didn't want to, did they? Because they were like, oh, it's a shit ending. And it's like, no, it's not a shit ending. It's a good ending. You just don't understand it. And the amount of Thai people I've spoken to who have said, "Oh, it was a shit ending," and I was like, "Well, tell me what happened at the end." And they went, "Oh, they were all dead all the time. That's just lazy." And I was like, "No, you didn't watch it properly. You didn't understand it. Sorry about it. I'm sorry that you didn't understand it. Don't go about telling people it's shit because it wasn't."
Yeah. Oh man,
I mean, I don't know what. See, the thing is, I thought the ending was a bit but like, I have seen a lot worse endings. Like, you can sometimes see. I'm trying to think of it. Like, you've seen a lot of endings of shows or films where the character's been dead. Like, I'm going to talk about Last Christmas. Now, if you want to talk about a shit ending, that film is.
Oh my god! Yeah.
Even from the trailer, everyone can see the lead, the lover, the male lead was dead. Everyone could immediately tell where that plot twist was up. That's a bad ending. That's you can see it coming a mile away.
Well, it's Last Christmas I gave you my heart.
Yeah.
This
But
woman's just had a heart transplant. I wonder what the twist is.
Yeah,
I mean, I love the first 3 seasons of Lost more than the last 3 seasons, but I will give it. I'm here more for the characters than the overarching plot. If you talking to you, I realise the character work is great. Like, but I don't. I can let go a lot of the stuff that isn't important. Like all the stuff, it's all part of the plan and fine. But as you said, the main one thing I've always banged on about, and I've said it a lot of films as well, is if I don't care about the characters, then I'm not going to finish you. The
Yeah.
reason I got to the end of Lost is because if you ignore Jack, and he nearly torpedoed it for me a few times. Like it was getting quite annoying at the end. There's enough characters I cared about. All the other characters I talked about. There's a lot of characters that I can care about to get to the final bit.
Yeah.
And like, I'm glad Jack was the only badly written character. Really, everybody else was good enough for me to stick about and watch.
I'm not even sure that Jack was badly written. He just wasn't a very nice person.
Well,
And I think it's so ingrained in us to think that the leading man is supposed to be a good person that it kind of confuses us when they aren't. Like, you can have an anti-hero, like, you have somebody like Dexter who's openly evil, but you can cheer for him because he's out doing stuff to the bad guys. But Jack was the character is an extremely flawed character with a lot of faults and a god complex. And it's really hard to root for somebody who thinks they're untouchable or thinks they're God.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that was all over the show.
It's really hard to root for somebody who has no humility, and the character has no humility.
Zero.
Anything that tried to teach him humility, he destroyed.
Yeah.
Because of his monster ego.
True. Oh man. Jack. Oh, Jack.
And I don't, an interesting character, but not a likable one. And that's quite tough.
I will say though, I always love how Lost kept me on my toes. I do believe sometimes it went a bit too far. The sideways stuff didn't need all that crap in there. And as you said earlier, off camera before we started, it felt like they had a complete story arc, but they had to expand it because they got lots of money and were asked by ABC to continue it. I reckon that if it had been shorter, it would have been a lot tighter.
Yeah.
But they definitely had they had the idea, but they had to extend it a lot because they were given more seasons, and I think that hurts it a little bit. But like, the character work is some of the best work. Everyone's kind of flawed. Look at Ben, Locke, Jack, Sawyer. There's no good or bad here. It's more shades of grey, and I think that's really good. There's no hammy acting. It's very well acted across the board.
Yeah.
It feels like real people would react to things. There's not any of this cheesy acting, and I love it for that. I mean, is it my favorite show of all time? No, I've seen a lot worse. But Lost is an important show.
But I think what's important is that it had a message, but it never had a lesson. Like, when there's a TV show is trying to teach you something, you hate it. You feel I rail against it every single time. And that's what I love about Lost, is that it had a message, but it never had a lesson, and it never hit you over the head with it.
It didn't try and teach you something. It just wanted to entertain you.
Yeah, and thrill you and confound you and confuse you and have you up all night looking at conspiracy theories about it and really think about all the symbolism and what it meant and sticking in Easter eggs for fans of different shows. Like there's bits from Star Trek and then there's bits from loads of Stephen King stuff like that. There was a Stephen King reference in pretty much every single episode. And when you're a Stephen King nerd like I am, it's like, oh yeah, bingo, 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 bingo. Even like the two main characters are called Jack and Sawyer, and Jack Sawyer is the protagonist in my favorite Stephen King book. Love it. Anyway, I'm going to stop banging on about Lost now because I've been banging on about Lost for 2 hours.
We've done good. And we can't cover every little effing detail of all the plot strands because that would just be boring. I think the characters are the key to the show. That's why I wanted to talk about the characters a bit more than just. And then there was a polar bear. Episode 2, this happened. Episode 3, this happened. It's like we haven't got time to do a 4-hour special on Lost, man. We're just here about the characters. Hell no. Troy, do you want to sum up how you feel about Lost?
It was a good show for what it was, you know. Wasn't one of my best because I've seen a lot of TV shows. A decent ending, wasn't the best ending for me. I'm not that big fan of it. You know what I'm saying? How it, when as Ben said before, the flash sideways stuff that kind of threw me out of it for a little bit. I was kind of okay, we're plodding along.
I thought the first season it gave you a lot of answers to what the island was. That was enough for me, like in terms of like the storyline between the brothers and stuff.
It went a couple of things too long, man. Simple as that.
Strong ending. That season 5, I nearly wobbled off. That sideways stuff nearly took me out.
Yeah,
like you're wasting time.
Season 2 long for me, bro. Season 4 should have been the end of the show, to be honest.
But it ended strongly, so
it was alright for me. It was okay. It was an okay ending. It wasn't the best, but it was okay. Yeah.
I mean, I think I just want to say that from the very first time I came on this podcast, I said to you that I would convince you that Lost was a good show, and I think I just have.
Well, it is a good show. We may not agree. You might like it more than me and Troy, but like at least we can have a good chat about the characters and kind of go, you know what? It's not as bad as I thought it was. There's a lot of good here.
I'd say okay. So you
have a nose ring. I didn't know Helen has a nose ring.
It's not a competition, but if it was a competition, I have definitely won.
Oh no, we've had a good conversation about it. And
it's a massive conversation, but I can see nothing.
I know we were joking beforehand that we would go into it, Helen just call everything shit, but you can't do that because there is a lot to like. You can't just say, all right, shit. You got to find a good and bad in a show. So we've had a good conversation about it.
Helen.
Yeah.
It's Helen got a nose ring.
Yeah, I do. I've got a nose ring.
Yeah. So that's where you stuck your engagement ring. Okay.
I've had a nose ring for 25 years, and people still say to me, "Oh, I didn't realize you had a nose ring."
Why have I just noticed it now?
Exactly. People only know. Yeah.
Interesting what you notice sometimes. You can talk to someone for 2.5 years, and all of a sudden you go, "Hold on a minute." All right. Lovely. Right. Trey, where can we find you?
Oh man, Legend of Old 101 on YouTube. Pop culture talk, movie reviews, TV show reviews, some music reactions, or just reactions in general.
Warning, there will be a Stardom stuff coming soon. I've already talked to Troy
about it. There will be some massive wrestling updates on that channel.
We need to put the Stardom stuff over onto that channel, like a weekly chat about Stardom.
I'm even thinking about doing like a separate channel at some point, just wrestling orientated. I might do that. But
just Stardom. Fuck everything else.
Related stuff, you know what I'm saying? But
bruv,
Stardom. I watched it a couple of times throughout like my life, but I'm on a major. I literally binged these highlight shows, like literally on Weird Stardom.
It's your new crack. I'm your dealer. We need to do a Stardom video on your channel at least. We just talk about Stardom and you can upload it.
It's gonna happen, so it's gonna happen.
We need to do it because then that way Helen doesn't go into a coma for like 10 minutes at a time. Her eyes just glaze over. It's amazing to watch.
Just spaces out, man. Literally. Oh god.
Helen.
That's the old ADHD. I can only pay attention to things that I'm interested in, and when you start talking about things that I'm not interested in, it's like, no, turn that one off. If you want to hit me up, I've started a Twitter account for Square Eye Syndrome, and it's Square Eye Sin, so SYN, Square Eyes, SQUAREEYESSYN. So hit me up there. I'll say hello.
Ooh, hit her up.
Love it.
Hit her up. Hit her up.
Yes.
That will be so we've now got look at us finally getting a Twitter finally. And the email address?
It's the same as the Twitter app, but at gmail.com.
Lovely. Nice. Square Sin.
Yeah.
Sin. I love it. Lovely
Like,
job.
share, subscribe, guys. You know what to do. Like, share, subscribe.
And Troy will put it in his videos, hopefully.
Come on. Like,
I'm still going to ask you about that every week until it happens. Also, we have a Facebook group. Go in there. Go say hi. We've hit over 50 people already. And we've cracked over 12,000 downloads on Spotify, so keep it up. We're on the way to 13 grand, 13K. We're on the way. So, we're doing good. Hello to Bangladesh and Korea, who have joined us on the viewing platforms. And number one American state is still Washington. Yeah.
Washington, D.C.
New York is number 2 now. Texas number 3. Ohio, my favorite state. You need to get back up there. Number 4, languishing. Get on it. That's where Stephen King and everybody else comes from.
Ohio.
Maine, that area of America I love.
Ohio versus everything, man.
Get on it, boys. All right. Tara. Well, Tara's not here, but Tara and Alex's stuff is in the description below. Go check them out.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's good. So we're just going to wrap it up. It's 2 hours nearly, so we got to wrap this bad boy up. So I'm going to say goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me. See you in the holding church.
Lovely.
With Christian Shepherd.
And more City Men next week. Back to normal. Back to normal.
Normal service has been resumed.
Sir Titzer. The tit man, titty man, no, tit man, titmus.
The titman cometh.
The tit man cometh. The titty man comes, and you can hear him coming over the hill with his titty slapping. You can just hear it.